Hi, this is Mrs. H again, and today we are going to be talking about our if-else statements, and this is task 8 in your programming set. So what it asks you to do is to add an if-else statement to task number 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up Testbed Programming Task 4, and there we go. This is what we have for Testbed Programming Task 4. So we're going to go and change a couple of things. So first off, we are going to while, because I want a while loop, and I'm just going to type in the words while loop. And so then, oops, there we go, while loop, if bump switch is pressed, then right motor runs and LED is on, else all stop. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, and this is now going to be our task number 8, and I'm going to go up to File, Save As, and I'm going to select task 8, and I already have one because I've done this a couple of times to make sure it worked. So then for pseudocode, I'm going to need while, and then I'm going to need an if bump switch equals on, which is 1, then right motor on, LED on. There we go. Else stop. Okay, so that's, and I know that looks a little simplistic, but that's all we need. So first things first, I have a task main, and this was my task 4, so I'm going to come down here and I'm going to delete all of these things because I don't need them. I'm going to type in while, while 1 equals 1, close it, and now I have to open my while loop with an open. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to immediately do a close. Okay, so after the open, instead of using an until touch, I'm going to use my if. So under C constraints, you can find your if-else statements and all of your conditional stuff. So I'm actually just going to drag it out and drop it right there. So I've now got an open above my if, and my sensor value is going to be, or my condition is going to be a sensor value. So sensor value, and then I'm going to use a hard bracket to tell it that that's the bump switch. There's bump switch, hard bracket to close the bump switch, and then I'm going to put equals 1. Okay, so now I need a statement here of what's going to happen if that is pressed. Then I want these two things to happen. Okay, so in they go. So then I've got that. Now here's the next interesting piece. I have to open an if statement, and then I have to close an if statement. So those two are opened and closed, so they're done. Then I have my else, and I again need this bumper switch statement about the sensor value. So I'm just going to Control C on the keyboard, come down here, space, and Control V. Except instead of having it on, I want it to be off. So off is going to be a 0. And instead of statement, I obviously don't need an until touch anymore, but I'm going to need a stop motor. So remember that after we did our if, we had to open and close our if. We also have to open and close our else. So we're going to open it, enter, come down here, and close it. Now, if I've done all my opening and closing correctly, when I go to compile program, oops, didn't like that. Okay, so let's look at what it's saying. It's saying there's a something while, oh, I have a incorrect, there we go, while 1 equals 1. Let's see if that fixes some of our problems. Okay, so it's still having issues with this. And I'm guessing, it says it's missing right here. I can see, oh, it's missing a semicolon. So we'll put a semicolon right there. And now we'll compile it, and everything runs. So we're going to compile and download to the robot. We're going to start it.